So I just started this over. I erased my last message. I'm glad I did, because rather than taking the emotions out of this and looking at it as a learn teach experience, I was almost like, in a way, like giving an ultimatum. And Blu-rays, I want to make this about learn teach. Blu-rays, it's all about learn teach, right? And we've had a very traumatic experience, a very traumatic program. And we usually spend a lot of time in our spare time healing. So the trauma bond for us, everything had been a trauma bond in the past before we woke up to our divinity. And that means, for me, like, I've had a twin flame for 20 years. Well, it's also been a trauma bond, and I've seen growth, and I've also seen us both retract and pull back, and I've also seen disrespect. I've seen on both sides. I've seen both of us taking our trauma out on each other, and I'm starting to, and I know that we create our own reality, so I'm starting to wonder, because I truly believe in the twin flame journey, you don't give up, but if one person is only seeing, or is on seeing things from your perspective, from a healing journey, and they still think you're the same person, you're going to have a lot of not only trauma bonding, because you have trauma, you're going to have a lot of resentment, a lot of anger. I made a decision yesterday to speak my piece, and the outcome was good as far as the physical aspect. I didn't get any much of the verbal, like the but, because I think he's more hung up on me saying he's not emotionally intelligent, and I'm just gonna like stop saying that. I'm even trying to change things within myself, apologize sincerely by making change, but I'm glad I erased that last video, because I said if he woke up and he had no clue or didn't apologize or didn't even care, then I may have to come to the realization that my programming is a little too traumatic for him. And I say this because he doesn't do any research, he doesn't know anybody like me, he doesn't try to empathize, and he says it's because he doesn't want to think about me going through that, but he has to, because he's the divine masculine. He has to bring me out of those wounds into that safe place. Now, if I already have a program where I don't like men, men were a big problem to me, that means my partner karmically is going to be my component until they're not anymore. And I realized that we both have some devious ways towards each other, and it's just completely triggering to both of us. Like, I was completely triggered by something that I feel, my intuition feels was done on purpose because of a revenge mode, for trying to get back at me for being nasty, which is what it is. But it was confirmed with, like, when I felt FOMO, and I felt like that's our love language. Like, I've never done anything with my twin flame that I've done with anybody else. So when he can just easily replace me, that hurts my feelings. That makes me feel like not special. And that triggers tons of things within me. Betrayal, abandonment, like I'm not good enough, like low self-worth because of how I was used, all those things. And 80% of the time, It's like I'm good. And the other 20% of the time, I'm being triggered by people that I love. And it's down to my children and him. And I just find it interesting that our paths are so different, but our essence is so much the same. And the funny thing is, as twin flames, whatever he would get mad at, I would get mad at. So it's not about making each other mad anymore. It's about healing each other. So like, for instance, there was a situation last night where I got triggered. I even asked for consent. I woke him up. I told him I needed his support. It did not turn out nice. And obviously it was forgotten about because he just woke up and asked what time it was. And like, I even cleaned up. And I usually split because I don't like to get into confrontation, but I'm dealing with the problems head on. And it's hard not to feel taken advantage of and abused because of your old programming. I'm starting to realize it might just be too much for him, honestly. It might be too much for anybody until I heal. On top of that, I have a whole other thing going on with my consciousness as a Blu-ray. So, you know, if we create our own reality, everybody does. What am I really creating? Am I creating things from trauma because I'm not conscious of it fully yet, all of it? It was that deep? Or am I creating things because that's what I feel my destiny is? How about both? And it's very confusing, and it has to be one or the other. This is why we have to know our healing. We have to know our way. We have to be comfortable with sharing our heart. People aren't going to believe us overnight, especially if we haven't been that great of people. If we've been flip-floppy because of our trauma, based programming, whatever, maybe it's just time to just heal alone, or just keep observing the attachments that I have and dissolving them on my own. Because in the end, all you have is yourself anyway. If you really want to think about it like that, that's what your twin flame is yourself. So I believe my twin flame is growing and making progress, but I believe that it's for the ego and it's not fully for a healing journey. Or for us. We don't make any solid plans, so that leaves insecurities. He doesn't, I can give him a roadmap and he doesn't understand how to climb the walls needed. Mine are just a little bit higher, and if you're healed, you know what I mean. We're so worth it once we do make it. 80% of the time I'm completely worthy of another's heart. This 20% of the time is what I'm trying to get rid of. So I'm in between sticking around for what could be humanly called like abuse in a way, or it could be a false perception because of my non-healing, or I could use it as a way to heal. I just worry about when I fully do and I step into my true divinity and I don't feel like a slave anymore, or like I'm not worthy, that I'm gonna grow past all of that behavior, especially my own. That's first and foremost, you know. I don't understand the complex, maybe it's his traumatic programming with his son, where he thinks if something's against his son or somebody's trying to do something. This has to do with you and I, our relationship, cultivating it, getting out of a trauma bond to something that we could grow from and learn and teach from. And when things are going good, they're going good, and that's all going good. There's just that 20% matter of my heart, which is the most important thing. Now, he said something to me yesterday about how I expect things to happen overnight and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's been a year and a half, and I have done nothing but change my whole entire life. I mean, all these little things that added up. I gotta stop looking at it like we're on different pages when we're kind of on the same page. And my goal is, I don't want him to go through any trauma like this. Like, even if he shows it and doesn't want to heal it, I'm not him. I mean, I am him, but I'm the divine feminine, and we're supposed to lead in that aspect of the esoteric. I'm going to heal that way, and I thought the more I continue to heal, the better it would get, and I would see like little patterns. But it was like, it was wild. It was like a few months ago, I was just completely done, and I had this ego death, and then he told me all this stuff that he wanted to do differently and to show him, and I haven't really gotten anything but defensiveness, no confirmation on the way my heart feels, the way I feel. I've gotten no support from masculine's aspect, and the only conclusion I can come to is that he can't see my reality because he isn't a healed individual yet, or he isn't on the healing path yet, because he wouldn't have such disdain for me or such nastiness for me, like want to get back at me for being nasty when it has nothing to do with him. Just like all this has nothing to do with me. But the sad thing is, like, I feel like he'll be empty like he would always be, but he would replace me. I'm replaceable with the things he likes to do. It's not special. I'm one of those people, if you do that with everybody, don't do it with me. It has to be unique and authentic, like my essence. And I wasn't even invited. Now that plays into so many different things from my trauma. And I asked for consent, and all I needed was a hug and reassurance. I was having an anxiety attack. You'd wake up if it was anything else. That hurts. So I'm glad I redid this video. Call it what you want it. We can create what we want. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. I am gaining a lot of growth from this, though, like realizing just how deep the trauma is, and it is a lot on somebody, but it still doesn't give them an excuse to treat you nasty. So I'm learning a lot of different things. Learn, teach, learn, teach. So I think I'll stick around for good, make sure these plants are okay, and just keep bringing you guys updates. So stay peace, love, and light.